Good afternoon. I'm just wondering whether you all can hear me yet. If yes, please give me a thumbs up in the comment section. Can you all hear me loudly and clearly? Let me check with my team also whether they are there and they can hear me or not. Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm just doing a voice test. Am I audible to you all? I'm hoping my team responds. Okay, perfect. So I am audible. So I think it's a good time to start. Great. So good afternoon, everyone. I think I'm going to wait a couple of minutes more till my team tells me it's good to go. So looking forward to a response from Shalaka in a couple of minutes, letting me know when is a good time to start once they're able to update us on all the people who are available on the call right now. Okay, well, I think it's a good time for us to start. If yes, give me a thumbs up, Shalaka, or say okay, because Okay, so I think even though we don't have a lot of people who've come in yet, but I think it's about time I start. So first, thank you for all those who have logged in either live or are watching this as a recording. Thank you for being here on my first Facebook Live session. Good afternoon. This session is more about understanding what emotional intelligence is and how we can effectively leverage emotional intelligence or the power of emotions to create positive outcomes in our lives. Right? So I am open to questions from the audience. I will also be sharing a little bit about my experience as emotional intelligence coach and facilitator, where I have realized emotional intelligence plays a role and where I feel we can leverage this more effectively. So I will share a few examples with you as well. And if you all have any questions, I would love to answer them as in when I see them in the chat box. Right? So, so we do have a few people who have logged in, and I think it's a good time to continue and start. So let me first start with introducing myself. I'm Shaurak Shankar, a leadership coach, a trainer, a facilitator, and an organizational consultant for the last 18 years. I have a total work experience of about 22 years, and in that work experience, I've gained a lot of insights and knowledge about emotions and how emotions work to manage relationships and to achieve success personally and professionally. Right? I've been in this field of emotional intelligence for about 8 years now. Right? That of course I was working with relationships, working with people, but specifically in the field of emotional intelligence is something which I started about eight years ago. The journey started with a couple of certifications, and then over the last so many years I've had the opportunity of working with various organizations to help develop the emotional intelligence within the organization. I've worked with business leaders, I've worked with individuals, and I have had the opportunity of understanding emotions and emotional intelligence from various angles now. Right? Throughout this journey, I've also managed to work on various aspects of emotional intelligence. One and key important aspect is self-motivation, and something which everyone probably relates regarding emotional intelligence is relationship management. Other than that, building engagement and teamwork is another key area where emotional intelligence has reaped a lot of positive results for my clients and coaches who work with me. Another aspect which is probably linked with all of these and drives your self-motivation tremendously is how emotions are linked with your self-confidence and developing a feeling of self-worth. And of course, the ability to take decisions, the ability to influence people, the ability to lead. All these are aspects which we have worked with various individuals and organizations using emotional intelligence or the power of emotions as a basis. Right? Today, one of the biggest issues or one of the current issues which is taking up a lot of our thought, our emotions, and creating a lot of challenges for all of us is the current COVID situation, right? And in this environment, I think one of the key things which I would like to share is a question which has come up multiple times recently as well as previously when I've been conducting the workshops. So everyone talks about self-motivation and its importance. But is it really that not important? Is it really that easy to keep yourself motivated in testing times like these? Now, if you're in an organization where work is continuing as normal, well, then motivation is not that much of a challenge. But if you are a business leader, if you are an entrepreneur, a large entrepreneur, a small-time entrepreneur running a small business, a large business, whichever it might be, at this point of time, seeing the prospects ahead, seeing the current situation and not being able to see the future and what's going to happen, can lead to a lot of impact on self-motivation. So one of the key factors on how do you keep yourself motivated at this point of time, and how emotional intelligence plays a role here. One of the most important factors here is being able to keep yourself motivated is to be able to keep your emotions in balance. So the first step to keeping yourself motivated is being aware of the emotions or what you're feeling. Now, when I say what you're feeling, you can say, well, I'm feeling demotivated. No. Demotivation is probably an outcome. There are certain other feelings which we might be. So, do we have a feeling of worry? Do we have a feeling of dejection? Do we have a feeling of fear? Do we have a feeling of apprehension? So, what are the different feelings which we have, and how are those feelings impacting my motivation, which is an outcome? So, for example, if I realize that, at this point of time, there's a lot of apprehension and there is a fear of what is going to happen ahead, well, I can not directly address the demotivation which this fear creates, but what I can do is I can use my emotional intelligence to deal with the fear, to reduce the fear, to change that negative feeling of fear to converting it and trying to look at it from a view or a filter of anticipation, a view of looking forward to what's going to happen, right? So how do I change that fear to a more positive emotion, or that extreme negative fear to a slightly softer aspect will impact how I see my emotion, my motivation moving ahead, right? So the first and most important aspect for using your emotional intelligence here is developing emotional self-awareness, and then regulating and managing the emotional state that one is in to be able to drive towards self-motivation and keeping yourself more motivated. Of course, I can give you a whole list of things in order to keep yourself motivated. Do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. In fact, I've done a video on that also, and if you see, that is also up on Facebook or YouTube, both. But here I'm talking about how you can change the emotional state in order to drive self-motivation. And that conversion of negative emotion of fear to positive emotion, or at least not so much of a negative emotion, can have a huge impact on your motivation, right? So understanding that is something which is not probably possible in a 2-minute live session or a half an hour live session, but requires work. But the first step is to develop self-awareness or emotional self-awareness of being aware of, I have a final emotion or I am feeling demotivated, but what is the background emotion which is leading to that? So trying to identify that and then trying to address that is your key factor for being more self-motivated or using your emotional intelligence to remain motivated in this environment. And then there is also an aspect of saying that how do I drive or how do I develop the positive emotions? Well, first it is key to identify what are the positive emotions which you need to have, which you need to bring in to be able to remain motivated. And for that, I think another thing which people need to work on is having a larger emotional vocabulary. Knowing that beyond the 6 or 7 emotions which most of us are aware of, what are the other emotions there which I need to leverage and I need to harness, I need to identify, I need to tap, and I need to leverage to be able to remain motivated. Now, there is another question which people generally come up to me with, and that is, I've found that a lot of times people are hesitant, people are afraid of taking decisions themselves, they are afraid of taking action without approval and validation from people around. Could be as simple as I need to take a decision in my process, and I have an idea, I have a new process which I would like to bring in, and I have the authority and the freedom also to do that. Yet sometimes I'll find that people tend to want to get approval from their manager, even though their manager doesn't really want to be involved, because they want that validation, they want that reassurance from their manager. If you look at it personally, someone wants to buy a house. He knows what house he wants to buy. He knows the money which he has for the house. Yet he would probably want to take 5 friends to see his house. Once they say yes and they say they are happy with it, then only he will go ahead, right? So this is something which is linked with emotional dependence, a dependence on needing reassurance, validation, and approval from others in order to take any actions. And this is where many people are emotionally anchored to the approval of others. And in order to truly drive, be happy and independent, and to be able to drive one's own success, it is very often important that we, to some extent, are able to de-anchor ourselves and drive decisions ourselves, where that will then give us more confidence in ourselves and confidence to take actions and take decisions for ourselves and our families without being dependent on others. Now, why does this happen? Now, at times this happens because we feel or believe that, how do I say it? We are too worried about what other people are going to say, right? We're too worried that, if I do this, what will this one say? If I do this, what will that one say? You'll find that people who are not worried about that are more able to take these decisions themselves. Now, when I say, do we need to be worried about other people? To some extent, yes. But can I have the courage of conviction or confidence in my own viewpoint? Does it really matter to me what other people say about me? If I'm not worried about that. For example, whether I become successful or not, or whether I'm a good person or not, is more dependent on what I feel, not what other people feel about me, right? It is good to get feedback from others, but my own self-worth and my own self-decisions should be driven or must be driven from my own feeling of self-worth within, right? So how do we do this? Well, one is developing a courage of conviction or a confidence in oneself. Now, in emotional intelligence terms, we talk about developing self-regard and having a confidence and belief in one's own ability to take decisions, and at the same time accept that even if I make a mistake and other people aren't happy with it, it doesn't change who I am, it doesn't change my essence, right? So these are two aspects. Now, I'd like to reach out to others and ask you all, do you have any questions regarding emotional intelligence? So I could keep on talking, but I plan to do that in my workshop and course which I'm starting from the next week. So the next week I have a workshop on emotional intelligence where I'll actually be taking people through. Now, today I really wanted to reach out to all of you and not have or not drive my own agenda, but reach out to you all and find out, do you all have any questions, any queries regarding emotional intelligence which you all have been wondering, or any challenges in keeping yourself motivated and working with people, especially in this environment? Especially when I'm looking at managing relationships, right? Many of us today might be facing a challenge where normally you've had family, you've had work, you spend some time there, you spend some time here. So when you're irritated and frustrated here, you get time to spend there, and vice versa. Today we are only in one environment. All the frustrations of work are spilt over at home. So any of you facing challenges like that and wondering how can emotional intelligence help you deal with those? Or any other queries you might have. So I'm open to your queries, to your questions. So would someone like to type in a question there, and I'd love to hear that. Okay, so while I wait for questions from any of you, I'll also talk about the aspect of the current round of, we all must be worried, many must be worried, many must be uncomfortable about the fact that, jobs are at a premium today. those who have their jobs are happy, but they are also wondering that how long will this continue? Can it happen that my company decides to restructure and I lose my job in the future? So that fear might be running for a lot of people. Now, in this particular environment of fear, how does my emotional intelligence play a role? So one of the key factors when we look at emotional intelligence is also focusing on or reminding ourselves that I'm fearful about something that hasn't even happened yet. So there's a model which we talk about called the ABCD model, which says you need to identify the beliefs which you have and how valid are the beliefs. So for example, if today I am fearful about losing my job, what are the beliefs which are leading me to that? Now, if the belief is, this is an impact on my company and my company is not going to survive, well, there are a few things which you can do. So what can you do best to help your company survive? That is one. Second aspect goes into saying, well, if I can't do anything there, what can I do to be able to be one of the few people who is not asked to leave? So what level of performance can I achieve so that I am retained by the company because they see that level of performance in me. So identifying, so while there is a negative fear, saying how do I eliminate this fear? I can eliminate this fear by doing certain positive actions, right? So using your emotional intelligence to break away from that negative emotion and focus on the positive actions which you can take is key. Another aspect, let's say there is nothing you can do. Well, there's no point worrying about it. So then I say, what is it that I can do? What is it that I can focus on? What is it that I can address? So I can work on my skill building. I can work on becoming more efficient as a worker. I can work on contributing more to my organization. I can work on developing skills which might be needed to make me more valued by prospective companies, right? So focusing away from the negative emotion and moving to the positive. However, that is easier said than done. So in our workshops when we go in, we talk about how you can make that paradigm shift from the negative to the positive. Because all of us know, yes, I need to move from negative to positive. Not all of us are always able to do it. And that is the key factor which one learns in the Power of Emotional Intelligence workshop, how to harness and how to leverage your emotions and how to move from the negative to the positive. So I'm looking forward to a couple of questions from the audience, because otherwise I would continue. So we are going to be doing another live session for all the people who did not manage to attend this one for whatever reason. There's going to be another one next week. And those of you who are watching this recording and would like to know more about how you can leverage your emotions, or in which situations you can do what to be able to leverage your emotions, please come in next week. I think it's next Thursday again in the daytime. It will come up on our page as well, and you will be informed about that. Those of you who are interested in probably knowing more about emotional intelligence itself, what are the key factors in it and how it can help you, and specifically how it can help you in your career and success, well, do attend my workshop. We are doing 2 batches of that, one on the 7th of August, one on the 8th of August. If you go onto our website, you'll be able to see website as well as our Facebook page. You will be able to see details of that as well, right? So I'm wondering, someone put up a question here. No. So as we don't have any questions right now, I think I'm going to end this live session, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next live session. And you all are welcome to keep commenting here if you all have any questions, and I would take the effort to read the comments and respond to them. If you have any further queries, you can drop an email. Our email address is also on the Facebook page, and I would take the effort to understand your question and give you a response accordingly, right? So emotional intelligence is a vast subject, and the objective of these live sessions is to be able to understand what are the queries you have and how we can address those, right? So 1 second, I seem to have a call from my team. Let me just check. Yeah, Mr. I can't see any questions. Okay. That's from you guys. 1 second. Okay, thanks. Okay, so thank you so much from my team for letting me know there are comments below, and I didn't see those. Thanks, Nishchay, for calling me and letting me know. So I'm going to take a question by Dhanashri Patel. So if you're giving your 100% to your company and you know it, but you don't receive the same in form of appreciation and are always feeling threatened of losing your job, in this case, what will you suggest? Well, I think this is a very important question, saying that when we are giving our 100% yet we are not getting the responses or the appreciation that we really want, right? So the key factor here is, one, of course, there is no harm and it is good to want appreciation of what you do. In fact, appreciation is a key motivator in some form for just about anyone. Now, what holds many of us back from being appreciated is that, one, we don't appreciate ourselves and are anchored only to the appreciation from others. So let me explain this. So while it is good to be appreciated from others, our feeling of fear and threatened because we are not being appreciated by others is largely based on the fact that we are not able to appreciate ourselves for the great work which we are doing. So the first part here is to truly love and appreciate yourselves and to appreciate all the contribution which you are giving. Now, how often do we take out time to think and actually note down and tell ourselves, what is the good job I did this week? What is the great impact which I created in my work this week? So being able to do that, I think, is very, very important, right? That's the first. Then, when I have the confidence and belief in myself and my emotional state is not anchored to others, then I will really be able to go out and demand. So some people, when they have the confidence in the contribution which they have made, and they say, I know I have done a good job, I believe I have done a good job, and every emotion in me states that yes, I am proud of what I have done, then I should have the courage to be able to go and talk to my manager or my leader and say, I have done a great job and I'm wondering why you haven't appreciated me. Is there anything else which you expect? I can do that, but I can only do that if and when I have first built the courage within myself through appreciating myself, loving myself, and valuing all the great work which I do. Now, it's very easy if I ask myself, do you work hard? Almost everyone will say yes, but that is your logical state of mind saying it. If you dig deeper and introspect, from inside there might be a little hesitation which is, I try to work hard, but I'm not really so sure. So that is when it is important that we are able to dig deep, understand deep, and then say, how do I build this confidence from within, where I believe and I'm confident about the contribution which I make to myself and my organization. Now, so I think when you make some decisions, you look for validation. So I'm looking at the next question. I think that has already been answered. How do you become more independent? Again, comes from realizing that your self-worth or your self-value is not linked to other people. That is the first. The second is from identifying that you are too dependent on people. Now, a lot of times, if I ask someone straight, do you think you're dependent in decision making? They'll say, no, I can take on my own. But I just like to ask many people. Now, what happens if I talk to 3 people who say you should go ahead, 3 people who say you shouldn't? That is where we get stuck, right? So a person who is more confident, who is more self-reliant, who clearly understands what his goals are, where he wants to go, will be able to take decisions far more strongly on his own. Right? Now, for that, I need to develop something within me which is called being more assertive. So, and I need to develop a level of assertiveness. I need to develop a level of confidence. All these are directly linked with my emotional state. So, come join my workshop. We are doing 2 sessions, one on the 7th and one on the 8th of August, and find out more about how you can develop this confidence, how you can develop yourself to be more independent in decision making, to be able to demand appreciation from people when you truly believe that you've done it right. So those are the aspects which I will be able to share in the workshop. And of course, post the workshop, it's an introductory workshop. We are also looking at a few courses where those who want to work specifically on certain areas of emotional intelligence can be a part of those as well. So go on to our website, you'll be able to find out a lot more information on what we are doing regarding emotional intelligence. There's also another workshop which we are doing on influence. We're going to be doing a live session on that next week. So those of you who are also interested in finding out how to influence, how to handle critical conversations, how to develop the ability to speak in front of people, that is something which we will be talking about next week. Right? So thank you so much, Dhanashri and Pooja, for your questions. And I think Priyanka Jain, yes, liked it. And I think, yes, one of the key aspects, appreciate ourselves, love ourselves, build confidence within. 3 easy catchwords to say: appreciate, love, build and confidence. However, they are easier said than done, and that requires a lot of work. It requires so confidence, appreciation are not switches where I say from tomorrow I'm going to start appreciating myself, switch on. Doesn't happen like that, because while your conscious or logical mind might say yes, your emotional makeup doesn't support that straight away. That emotional makeup requires training, that emotional makeup requires grooming, and it requires to be developed. So, and that is where there are a lot of books on emotional intelligence. You all can pick up any one of them. Those of you not really into reading can be part of the course. There are lots of videos online, but I would say that focus on emotional intelligence, because emotional intelligence today is going to be one of the key factors to success. Check out certain information. So there is an article which I have also written on the benefits or the key factors for emotional intelligence. You can check out our blog also. Search for excellence and the blog there. You will find that there are many benefits of emotional intelligence. All we need to do is figure out how to harness them and how to leverage them. So thank you for being part of this live session. I look forward to seeing you all in the next one, and hopefully more questions and more contribution from you all in the next. I'm eager to answer questions. It's a bit of a challenge talking one way otherwise. So thank you so much, and I wish you all the best. Stay healthy, stay safe, everyone.